It's Kelsito, the spirit coach, getting you in shape and form for the age of Aquarius yet again. You're now drinking the wine of Zeus. Aries season. Welcome to Aries season. Welcome to motherfucking Aries season, you bitch ass nigga, you. You know what I'm saying? You bitch ass nigga, you. All right? Bitch ass nigga. Bitch ass nigga. Okay, so the sun of Aries. We're going to talk all about it. You know what I'm saying? Because we in the springtime. And it's time to get shit busting. It's time to get shit busting. So you got to know your stars. You got to know your positions. You know what I'm saying? You got to know what's going on, where we at. You know what I'm saying? We in a cycle. You can't just be washed up. You just can't just be washed up in culture, white man culture. You know what I'm saying? You got to know, like, you got to know, like, get out of Disney, get out of alien world, Phineas and Ferbland, get your mind on the ground. Get your mind in your environment, and be around some intelligence. So it's just like, they don't, when things don't want you to be around intelligence and shit like that, you got to question that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's a fad. You don't want me to be around intelligent people. You don't want me to see. You don't want me to start having conversations. You don't want me to use my mouth and my ideas and my words to make things make sense. Okay, you an enemy. You feel me? You an enemy. Yeah, you an enemy. See, that's how I feel. Like you can't be an enemy in my court like that. You can't be an enemy around here. You know what I'm saying? We don't play that. It can't be an enemy of the mind, enemy of the war, enemy of a state. You can't be enemied out. You gotta be, you gotta be a leader and shit like that. So where's you leading us? Where's you leading us? You specifically you. You know what I'm saying? With where you are playing out these alignments and stuff like that, and you're gonna be playing out what we all playing out based upon the sun being there and us understanding, okay, you know what I'm saying, what we want to give our attention to and not. So what is you making us pay attention to and why is you doing that? Is you doing that for trying to lead us into some better type of circumstance and situation? Or is you trying to do that to lead us into La La Land? Because we just went through Pisces season. So we don't really necessarily need to be in no La La Land, you know what I'm saying, in Pisces season. Like that's dead. We ain't going back. I mean, Venus about to probably retrograde back to Pisces, but that's about it. But you know what I'm saying? We ain't trying to be in no La La Land. So where's you leading us with your attention? So everybody got responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Is you finna lead us off into where you were. See, that's the thing. And you got to be careful too, because there's people out here that want to lead you down the road. They want to lead you into like cultural assimilation, like lead you into places thinking like the Native Americans still don't exist. Like they want to lead you real like they wanted to lead you into like you know what I'm saying, thinking like Native Americans don't exist no more, like thinking we ain't the well know our culture and stuff like that, thinking we like just something that just formed black. You know what I'm saying? That just black and called black. You know, so you gotta understand like when people is calling for your attention, you know what I'm saying? What do they want it for? And this could be your friend, this could be your neighbor, this could be your cousin. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. And then they even have nerve to put on the shit like they're they they got something smart to say. Even like how they hype up all these rappers and all these artists and stuff that's just assimilated over here. They ain't got their family not too tied into the government, so they don't really got no responsibilities to the land or nothing like that. They just think it is America the free and not knowing that it's built off Native American bloodshed or something like that. So you go like things gotta be like for real in real life. Like we gotta use eyes, ears, ass, and nose too. Like what? Like y'all just use ears, ass, and eat. You know what I'm saying? Music, eating, fucking, and shit like that. That's the only chakras y'all use. and stuff. Y'all never want to use y'all Mercury chakra like how like make good logic and things. God like good logic too, man. You know what I'm saying? God like good logic, God like good ideas, God like good talking points, God like good understanding. And these is things that the average individual don't necessarily got to shy away from, you know what I'm saying? In life, you know what I'm saying, especially now. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to the age of Aquarius. You know what I'm saying? See to the spirit coach, get your ass in the See to the spirit coach, get your ass in the game. You feel me? So this we all got to get our ass in the game. You know what I'm saying? And for the most part, you know, the game is the game of life and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So you getting the game played on you. You know what I'm saying? So you better know how to motherfucking get your ass in it and shit like that. They show you that shit through movies. They show you this, they all types of symbolism and stuff. Just because you chose to be like, you know what I'm saying, three turnarounds from you know what I'm saying, some illegitimate kid reading with brains and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you got here, got wet off culture, got wet off American culture, forgot what this was built off of and stuff. You know what I'm saying? They built you up real nice and stuff like that in school, taught you how to be a taught you how to be a you know what I'm saying, one of their men, one of their version of men and stuff like that, one of the assimilated men and stuff like that. They taught you real good, real good. So these days you got you gotta be careful, man. You know, you gotta be careful when you deal with these clowns, man. These clowns and them. But yeah, for the most part, Aries season. Let's talk about that. So we're gonna be espresso. Aries is cardinal fire, so this is their birth season and the first Happy New Year, like I said, in the first zodiac of the sign. Now, when we get to the zodiac, y'all remember I'm Native American, so I'm filtering. You know what I'm saying? And my opinion through what they use to copy our system, which is Greek and shit like that, which is the updated version of that shit. You know what I'm saying? That was stolen. You know what I'm saying? By Native Americans and shit like that. Well, I mean, from Native Americans and shit. You know what I'm saying? Based upon how we did agriculture and track times and stars and shit like that. You ain't gonna see no African, no Google or nothing like that when talking about that before us. You know what I'm saying? No Europe, no Saudi Arabia, none of that. So understand where the fuck you at when we in this shit. You know what I'm saying? You in the present of Native American OG. So when we get to this Aries season, you know, it's the birth season. It's us experience that springtime on a macro version of what we experience, you know what I'm saying, in our daytime, which would be, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., you know what I'm saying, where we start to feel that motivation. So we experience that through that on the clock. You know what I'm saying? We actually experienced the month of that, you know, um, the month of that on a time, which would be the actual Aries season, the spring season, where which we about to go in now, which all of y'all as feeling feisty and shit like that a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Y'all feel, you know what I'm saying, you motivated and stuff like that to get some type of power to show or something like that. Yeah, that's what all y'all doing, motivated to get seen or something like that. Or shit, you just motivated to bitch all day and talk about your motherfucking frustration all day and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? One or the other. You know what I'm saying? Whatever floats your boat. Ain't nothing right, positive or negative, but either one, you know what I'm saying, is going to help you understand where you need at on the spectrum to like start, seeing what's useful for you to be in or not within your situation. I'm on live. What's going on? I want your tablet. I don't, yeah, so we're gonna be motivated to show something. So the thing is, you know what I'm saying, what we gonna be motivated to show is shit like that. Oh, that's why I was saying we got, the time version of that, which is 6 a.m. That's the very micro version of that, which is 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. in the morning. Then we got the bigger macro version of that, which would be actual the 30 days of spring and shit like that, which would be the first 30 days of spring, which we about to go into. And then you got the time of the year of that shit when the springtime in general. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a bigger macro version of that as well too. But you know what I'm saying? These is all representation of the same thing of when something start and something about to actually flourish and things. So it ain't even really got nothing to do with the actual character Aries and stuff. These are all characteristics. We can take anything that got that characteristic and say, hey, this is a time when something do that. We just calling it Aries just based upon, you know what I'm saying, cultural assimilation and them trying to steal our knowledge and put it in a perspective where, you know what I'm saying, it's was, you know, downgraded or psyoped on a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Where they don't even really got the understanding because they observant. But this whole democracy and shit like that is actually, and I ain't even a Democrat, but you know what I'm saying? The ability to do, you know, what we do over here in America, you know what I'm saying, is how we kind of develop our system and bargaining exchange and all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? This is all things that's, you know, for us and our benefit to actually know and stuff. Even so, yeah. So you got to know a lot of that shit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these native principles that I speak on because it's going to help you understand your situation over here and understand how to have direction. You know what I'm saying, within this atmosphere water cycle and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us have these naturally and stuff like that. And just because it's built off the native way, a lot of the government is ran like this naturally. So it depends on you and your consciousness awareness and what do you want to start to show based upon your perception of this awareness. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to determine the fact of what spirit is using it the best, what spirit has more awareness of this concept and um, can be utilized to teach others and to help others formulate their own opinion and idea about it and shit like that. And that's how we all help each other and all um, actually find ourselves within space, time, and matter and shit like that. But yeah, but you know, nobody want to do no outdated shit no more. So you know what I'm saying? Know your stars, Sun and Aries. You know, we gonna want to express a new sense of consciousness awareness. So everybody gonna want to express a new sense of the sun. You know what I'm saying? New sense of what does the sun do? You know what I'm saying? If you look at that bitch, it can blind you. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna need either want to express some type of blindedness, or you could express some type of way where you're showing, you know, more of a sense of uh, awareness, consciousness awareness, and things like it's useful when the sun is very useful. It shows us, you know, how something is or how something can be an externalization, you know what I'm saying, based upon it being in that yellow world and shit like the natives say. So you gotta know that it's the first world we came from, the black world and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That's the mother womb and shit. From there we emitted imaginations. That's the second world and shit. So that's that aqua blue world. And then, you know, you got the third world, which is the yellow world, which we came down and externalized ourselves and shit. And we going into the fourth world, which was the white world, you know what I'm saying, where we're more masculine in thought and shit like that. And you know what I'm saying, doing that spiritual cycle. But if you ain't got no Native Americans around you, you know what I'm saying, or no native history and shit like that, this might be not shit you know, but you might get plagiarized spirituality from, you know, what you know about media, through media, you know what I'm saying, through control government. And then that may give you a perspective about things I say, you know what I'm saying, when I say chakras or I say shit, you know what I'm saying, already you gonna come with a bias and shit like that. And I might have to kill that bias and shit like that by making more sense to you. Then, you know what I'm saying, that's when you'll be on an even playing field. You'll get ready and out of the white man thought and back to God. You feel me? And these is all things that is good for the spirit, you know what I'm saying? Getting out of your own biases and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? When you too much into your biasness, you only use that as a insecurity protection. You know what I'm saying? So whether it's money, you know what I'm saying, you too good to, you know what I'm saying? Don't nobody give a fuck about money no more. You know what I'm saying? That's why we in the age of Aquarius. You would hear natural person, nobody's to give fuck about no accolades or nothing and shit like that. We got people, the richest in the world, screaming for truth right now. What is truth? What is this and shit like that? But they may be just too lost or may not have no, you know what I'm saying, references to help them and help them understand, okay, what may be actually going on. You know what I'm saying? When they're spirit. So when your spirit ain't light, it ain't free, it may be in a dark, dim space. You know what I'm saying? So it may be crowded with too many thoughts and feelings. It got too many emotional baggages. It got too many emotional thoughts that you be digging in that you um, aren't able to allow yourself to freedom thoughts because you know what I'm saying, you're just trying to steady look for something, and that's when you be deeply pressed. You know what I'm saying? So you be deeply trying to press or deeply trying to find something, you know what I'm saying, and you don't got no foundation. You know what I'm saying? So you just go further and further that, and they'll give you money on top of that to make you keep going in that cycle. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying that it's not a demonization of, actually creating things that represent value, but we just got to know what the fuck these things is and how the fuck these things can be used for, what the fuck they were starting points. Other than that, y'all came here to rap about La La Land. That's why I don't respect no Chicago conscious lyrical rapper and shit like that, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't respect none of that. Y'all that's not talking about nothing for real. You know what I'm saying? Niggas talking about their feelings all the time and shit like that. That shit ain't talking about nothing for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is you actually saying? You know what I'm saying? We respect intelligence. You know what I'm saying? They already trying to degrade music all the way down, even with Playboy Cardi and them doing the Satan swag and shit like that. Man, that's just some Native American cosplaying and shit. Them demonizing Native American culture and shit based upon face paint. You know what I'm saying? Little needles and shit like that, and you know what I'm saying, standing in circle fire rituals and shit, man. That's them demonizing motherfucker yo culture and yo dumbass to be in them, your grandma and them, with all of them, and they get fucking died for and shit like that. And yo ass in here fucking turning up to that fucking cosplaying ass shit. Man, I don't want to hear none of that shit. Turn that shit the fuck off. You feel me? We ain't got time to hear none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? That shit is, yeah, the beat may be alright for 2 seconds, and then we back to business. Real shit. Real shit. Niggas ain't got no time, nigga. What is you getting attention for? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Your time and your attention is precious, nigga. You know what I'm saying? You only got so many years here in your life. So you getting attention for dumb shit, you know what I'm saying? And you gotta understand, you just getting paid. You getting paid by the feds to distract somebody because they had never give somebody like Native Americans platform. They've been gaslighting Native Americans for a long time. And if you got that shit in your social security and they see you on some shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Your family got a little history or something like that. They already by default ain't give you no position. They'll give a foreigner a position way before. You know what I'm saying? For you. You know what I'm saying? All that shit. Indians, all of that shit, they give y'all that position way before they give a Native American that position. Trust me. And then they act like it's our fault or some shit like that. Like the black community is no, it's motherfucking cultural assimilation and shit and psyops. And it ain't nothing but that. So these days you gotta understand, like you can't just be getting attention in this new time and shit like that and thinking like, oh, it's just sweet and stuff. No, it's too much to pay attention to. So your attention gonna be a little bit more valuable right now. You know what I'm saying? What is you getting to? Is you saying something? Is you presenting something? Is you got something to something to say? Is it looking like it's leading something somewhere? So that's what the positive quality of Aries is, you know what I'm saying? Leadership, knowing how to be a leader. And knowing how to be a good leader sometimes is knowing how to be a good goddamn follower. you know what I'm saying, knowing how to be a good goddamn follower and knowing what to follow and shit like that. Other than that, you lead you and other people off the cliff, and you finna get that all that goddamn blood in your hands and shit like that. And you not finna manifest nothing that's quality. And you know what I'm saying? So you gotta know how to lead. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, I was going this way, but I need to separate. You know what I'm saying? Go this way and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? To be more a little bit more lit, you know, be a little bit more lighter, like be a little bit more shy. Then you actually start getting all the right attention. You know what I'm saying? You might think you getting in is good when it's good, but you know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to get that right attention on your ass, real shit. So there's things you gotta know. It's motherfucking spirit down here. This shit ain't no plan, it ain't no game. Ain't no game. You're in the middle of cultural assimilation right now, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. Real shit. You need to go. You know what I'm saying? Why other than that, why your family and them ain't all in one thing and all of y'all ain't gotta go to work and clock in and stuff. You know, you might be the only one and stuff like that. It may be good or something like that for even to the government done with your ass and shit like that. And they don't want to use you, no, because you ain't had no culture to yourself. You don't even know why you here and stuff. You just getting wet off American culture for this second. So this thing you gotta do, man. This shit, yeah, ain't no joke. This shit real, real in the field. It's real in the field. But yeah, you know, we gotta show the power of our consciousness, show the power of our awareness. You know, show the power of our expression. Hold on, give me a second. My son pressing me about food. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? So we need some motherfucking leadership in here. I'm tired of seeing all of these rappers getting led off to the same cliff and shit like that. We done said the shit plenty of time. You know what I'm saying? You niggas is getting psyop. You know what I'm saying? So what is y'all even doing? Mommy said I could go. Yeah, so you know, that's really it though. But yeah, we got some motherfucking planets in Aries right now too. We got 2 retrogrades in Aries and shit like that. So um, we got to do a lot of separating from old relationships, old ways of relating. You feel me? And we got to separate from old ways of thinking right now. And it may be harsh and shit like that because fire, you know, brings that energy of us having to motherfuckers separate. Anytime we experience that. So that's what we experience. Now we gonna be experience the first separation mentally too, because that's how the planets um, affect us, and we're gonna experience the first separation again physically too when we start seeing separation of us being from wintertime. You know what I'm saying? Now we seeing that a little bit right now, so that's why it's cardinal. You know what I'm saying? So you get the first energy of it being hot. You know what I'm saying? You get the first thing, but we ain't all the way in there. We ain't even 3 degrees yet. So yeah, but we don't want to hit no fake shit. Like we don't want to hit no fake conscious shit. You know what I'm saying? Like even y'all Africans and shit like that, y'all chill out a little bit and stuff on you know what I'm saying, telling us what we gotta do and shit as far as going back to African shit. No, that wasn't never the fight. You know what I'm saying? We don't think like that. We saw that was hold on. We saw that as something that got later introduced into shit. You know what I'm saying? They got later introduced into the world after they didn't got everybody in a good place and assimilated everybody, and now you know what I'm saying feel comfortable with bringing Africans over here and starting to preach that shit, and utilizing also paying people right now to be the distractions. I mean, paying people back then to be the distractions. So the people that actually believe the rhetoric, they'll give them more money than the average individual. Well, that shit they got good at telling having Native Americans not talk about the shit. At some point, they got really focused. You know what I'm saying? But and to the point where niggas just started claiming black and shit like that. Man, we just black, man. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? It ain't that even that serious. Yo. We'll do ghost dance and come back in a couple of years or something like that and just shit like that. You know what I'm saying? We do know our spirituality. But it's a spiritual thing. So yeah. But you know, but yeah, for the most part, like I said, the sun is in Aries. I ain't getting all of it. So we gonna see our first need to express or show our new sense of consciousness awareness, and you don't have to show that. Mm, and fight for what you want to pay attention to. Fight for what you want to be seen. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's negative, you gonna get shown that it was negative though. You know what I'm saying? You don't get away with nothing. I didn't use the lighter all for y'all this shit. The first spring. Yeah, but what y'all been on though? What y'all been on? What y'all been on? What y'all been on? Not really much. But yeah, so hopefully all y'all getting prepared and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the real new year. A real new year right now. You know, so y'all can gaslight the Native Americans once again, as we gonna tell y'all and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Good shit. You just go see us keep saying progressively influencing and communicating, getting everybody on our wave and people in more into astrology and unfolding more into things that we can, you know what I'm saying? The sun ain't a fireball, the moon ain't a rock, like type shit. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no such thing as outer space. We a water type vibes. You feel me? But yeah. So this is all the things that you have to know when you know your stars, knowing your starting point, so you can become a 5 finger being and shit like that. So like I was just saying in my last thing, to become a star is to know how to deal with the elements. You know how to deal with fire, water, air, and earth. And that fifth point on the star, which is the very top, is you and shit like that. And these um are the elements that we deal with to uh express ourselves in the external world. Well, these is the transitions of these elements expressing ourselves. So we got like 4 different transitions, you know. But the fire one specifically is the one you need to create your point in right now. And for the most part, it comes with you needing to express that point. So that's how you're gonna draw that point out. You know what I'm saying? So that expression needs to be, what I'm saying, more personal, you know what I'm saying, more individualistic, you know what I'm saying, more looking like it's about leadership, you know what I'm saying, more looking like it's about that cardinal, more looking like it's about giving birth to something that's new and shit like that. So it can match that as above energy and you can and play out as below and stuff like that. Okay, and the universe look at you, okay, like damn, this person on point. And to where you might actually manifest somebody saying, damn, you on point. Damn. So, these is just some things, a little sauce, that the Native Americans knew, and that the average individual, you know, especially that may be lost over here due to cultural assimilation, can utilize in their life, you know what I'm saying, to understand how to get back on track and understand when they may have dropped the ball going too far with cultural assimilation, creating cartoons and stuff to get y'all lost in and sports and stuff like that, where none of that kind of goes to actually productive as a generation, where y'all was actually on a scale of, you know, no, they got y'all culturally assimilated into something where y'all can work a job and y'all got comfortable with that. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't one nothing about you and what you got going on. It was just about getting with the program. And so when they drop the ball on that program and they may be working for certain years and you may be in that program and shit like that, you may experience the negative consequences of that, where they just may just go on about their life and you may have thought that that was something the world actually, and no, it was just something that kind of helped y'all cope with y'all mind because y'all been here and getting slaughtered. So but y'all still having kids because they integrate y'all to the system, so they need y'all to have something to lean on for a sense of security in the world, because they don't want to let y'all know what it is. They don't want to come out and be like, yeah, this is what we did and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So they gotta manipulate it and make it look like that. Make it look like something else. So these is the things average individual, you know, may just think is regular, but it's a way because of a reason. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason behind stuff. It's a reason behind why we here. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why behind why you can, be a motherfucking individual. It's a reason why you gotta think and stuff. There's a reason why they run the world. Well, they run that piece of witchcraft they created, and you don't. And you gotta learn. So it's a reason. It's a reason. It's a reason. Now, America ain't had nothing to do with no white man. You know what I'm saying? Before they, you know what I'm saying? Before it was established. But yeah, another aspect that we got going popping on too is we got Neptune interplay. So we got a couple things with Aries right now. We also got Neptune interplay with Aries too, because Neptune is very fucking close to going in fucking Aries. Okay, so these are things you need to be aware of too, because Neptune is a motherfucking generational planet. And for the most part, we starting to see the generational dream being transformed and being new in some type of aspect of the game as well. So it's gonna be a new fight over dreams and beliefs and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a new fight, but a new fight over emotional intelligence and shit like that. So everybody gonna be, you know what I'm saying, on trying to see how good they sub game is and shit like that, subconscious game and stuff, but y'all kind of got to tread lightly and stuff like that with people like me here and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. But, you know, people gonna be fighting over their dreams and beliefs and shit like that. So, it's all good as long as you can come together collectively and share imagination and stuff like that. But, imaginations and fantasies and dreams, for that to be something substantial, it got to kind of look like something that other people would want to like feel comfortable, cool, and shit like that. When it comes to your dream world, is it just you and shit like that, and is it just you? Because you you got here by two humans. You know what I'm saying? So you getting the concept after a dream of what a dream is and shit like that. So you only hear because other people had a motherfucking dream. So if your dream is just to be in your own dream world by yourself and shit like that, you just creating that within some shit that don't exist. You know what I'm saying? You gotta kind of create a dream that others want to be a part of too. You know what I'm saying? Others can still, you know what I'm saying? Other than that, at least the fantasies, you gotta be careful with that too, because there's a lot. of those that really y'all don't know the government be creating witchcraft around y'all so y'all can get locked up and shit like that. They be creating ones that y'all get locked up, you know what I'm saying, get AIDS, you know what I'm saying, get killed, you know what I'm saying, get in jail for 30,000 years. Like that, y'all gotta be careful fighting for them goddamn dreams and shit like that. I'm telling you, they know how to do it too. So they know how to do it to start with the mind state. Other than that, there wouldn't be so many people out here talking about some goddamn gang banging and knowing that shit is copying Native American tribes and shit like that. That shit is a whole flip and shit like that. Whole flip the script and shit. That shit being done and shit. That shit crazy. So, you know, it's not a game. It's not a game. It's not a game. It's not a game. You know, it's not a game. You know, but you know, the more you can get your ass in the game and shit like that, the more you will look like a sufficient player and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? You'll be everybody be watching you on the screen like, damn, I create a character in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? You know, I know this person, but this person created a character in this bitch and look like some futuristic game type shit I want to be a part of. How we do that and stuff like that. Well, let's just tell you, it's called get in with the spirit code. Cito World, Cito.world/store. You know what I'm saying? Cito World. Gosh. Put that in the chat. Put that in the chat. I don't even know how to do that shit. But yeah, Cito.world/store. Get your birth chart reading game in check. Okay. So yeah, for the next 30 days, you know, just be aware of these energies that we have spoken on and stuff like that because you know it is time to go ahead and start appreciating the spring that God about to give us and all these different things and stuff like that. And yes, we do a cycle, but we always doing the cycles in new ways and shit like that because nothing ever stays the same. So that's the thing. You may go through the same shit, but it ain't what you do, is how you handle it. So you might have to change up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And be new, even if it's the same shit. You feel me? It's just little gems. Little gems drop. Little gems drop on you. And yeah, but for the most part, people are trying to see something, and I want to see some goddamn intelligence. You know what I'm saying? I want to see some. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear nobody like everybody just be talking the same old shit and like think it's like people want to stand around and be like, oh yeah, I want to be listening to some retarded shit too. And it's like, no, that's an insult. Like, that's some scammer shit. Mars, get away from my door now. I said, yeah, yeah, straight. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's steady pressing me about the food and stuff like that. Mom, you know what I'm saying? Go ask your mama now. Go ask your mama. All right, bro. But yeah, so we want to see some type of so what you gonna show? You know what I'm saying? What's your show? What's your move? You know what I'm saying? What are you personally into? Or is you personally into the same old shit? I'm saying, okay, we don't want to hear that shit. You useless in this new shift. We got a whole new shift going on. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be a part of it to get down and stuff like that. You gotta be a part of people that's popping and got some type of intelligence. You know what I'm saying? Or you gonna be lost in some old shit. You know what I'm saying? Some old shit, old minded, old stress minded face. You know what I'm saying? That may manifest to you actually being stressed out into some old shit. So, just new shit. Get on this new, and wherever it's gonna happen in your life personally. You know what I'm saying? To the point where a person may bring you to a situation where they may try to prove you, oh, do you might have to show that motherfucker? No, man, motherfucker, no, I got some creativity shit too, like that I can show too. You know what I'm saying? But it's all good, all to the good. It's all about expressing this new shit. But we can utilize all of that motherfucking energy for the right purposes. And that would just be, for the most part, shit. It's like hopping on here showing, who you are, showing you lit. You know what I'm saying? Showing something new and shit like that. Attracting that type of energy and audience and motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Taking that, like, man, this could be something creative too, and this is some can be something that, what I'm saying, is totally separate from the old world and shit like that. Motherfuckers ain't gonna want to do nothing but fuck with you and your game and who you got and what y'all doing and shit like that, because everything else outdated and bored. Sound like the same rhetoric, same rhetoric. You know what I'm saying? Now everybody else in that world gonna get lost in the world, in that world too, and then they gonna be watching MASH and shit like that, esoterically, like their grandmama used to do. I remember y'all saw y'all grandmama walk in, not our grandmothers and shit, but motherfuckers still watching MASH and shit like that, old as hell. They didn't let their mind develop. You know what I'm saying? They didn't put their spirit in a new space and shit where spirit can attract a new thoughts and feelings and shit like that on how to sustain that space of being young, of being up to date, of being up in energy and shit like that. No, they spirit was hanging on to that motherfucking desire of wanting to fucking only be in that space that they was familiar with and shit like that. So it didn't it didn't attract no situations of, oh, let me keep looking good with the body and shit like that, let me keep up, let me keep myself up, let me keep my spirit up and stuff like that. I got this other shit, this new shit that, it might not be something I actually feel the best doing, but it is something that is a part of humanity, and it's something that we can all be a part of, and that's actually facts and shit that can actually help an individual, not just help them in a way where it's only beneficial to my bank account and shit like that. So it's more so in a space where it's sacrificial in a way where it's the real energy of it. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, grandma won't be watching MASH and shit like that. She'll be watching you on YouTube, and you reminding her something like, damn, you is right, child, and stuff. They did do that. You know what I'm saying? You would be her new favorite person to watch. You would be her new favorite person to love and stuff, because you showing some honor and stuff like that. You making her feel good, like, damn, like, you know what I'm saying? Giving her hope about the future and the youth and shit like that. That's the type of energy you want. That's the type of energy you want. If you don't want that, then I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So you gotta know your stars, know your starting point, and shit like that. And get out the gutter, spiritually and things. You gotta know some spirituality. Get some spirituality about yourself. So yeah, and these are just things that we need to observe as we're going through, this starting point. Hold on, let me find this letter, y'all. But yeah, other than that, y'all can drop y'all zodiac sign or something like that if y'all want y'all zodiac sign talked about. Fried, put on the spot. Something like that, whatever it is. Shout out to the good peace pipe. Good peace pipe. Native American peace pipes. You say your Mercury is sad. Well, as far as your Mercury and shit like that, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna have to like kind of get understanding where your Mercury is today. Because if you just dealing with Mercury, you talking about communication. So with Mercury, you're gonna be separating from past ways of thinking and communicating type shit. You know what I'm saying? So you need to separate from past ways of thinking and communicating and shit like that. And that may be in the space of um, you need to separate from some type of knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Or re-separate from some type of knowledge, you know what I'm saying, and get more into some type of knowledge and wisdom that feel a little bit more in a sense of personal, where you can have a personality where it can be like, oh shit, like, you know what I'm saying, somebody can get you on a personal level. But if nobody can understand where you're coming from when you speak in your spirituality or nothing like that, you know what I'm saying, they just may think it's la la land and shit. So you gotta understand how to separate what not what knowledge is is worthy of relating on a personal level and what knowledge is not. And since it's 29 degrees, it's kind of Capricorn too and stuff. So it's for sure gotta make sense. For sure gotta make sense. If it don't make sense, you know what I'm saying, you may be fried. You know. So you may, as a Mercury and Sag, you may just like to express yourself, just to express yourself freely and shit like that. And it's kind of what make people dislike that type of quality too, and stuff like that, because it's not that what you're doing is negative. It's not what you're doing is negative. It's that you might say something right one day and you might be right, but then another day you may say something and you may be wrong, and a person may be looking like, yeah, you smart, but the way you express it, like you express that right thing just like you express that wrong thing too. And that so just me observing you, you just like, you can be right in that way and feel confident in that can be dangerous to another individual. So they may be peeping game in areas you might not know, because that's just how you like to express yourself as a side. But they'll look at that like, okay, that may be dangerous a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because this dude is overconfident. And you may have game, but like I said, you got to know what, um, how somebody, other person may personally take it, or something like that, or how other, you got to be more aware of how other people may take that personal expression. You know what I'm saying? And stuff, and also realize, where to a fault to you, you ain't shit either. You know what I'm saying, with your communication. It's shit like that. Well, I'm saying, so you know, you just gotta make it more personal, and it's gonna get your mutable fire and that little bit of earth a little bit more cardinal, where you can show a person, okay, you know how to change too. You know what I'm saying, mentally. But yeah, so yeah, that's that too and shit like that. You know what I'm saying, but you know what I'm saying, new shifts, new energies, new vibes. I'm saying we coming for the live. I'm saying we coming to not. Know your stars. Know your stars. Know your stars. Know your stars. Real shit. Um, yeah, but that's it, man. So now we can talk even about a little bit about consciousness. Now, what is consciousness? No, what is consciousness? So a conscious is the ability to be aware of something. You know what I'm saying? You only got things that you're not consciously aware of, and you only got things that you're consciously aware of. Now, it's different spectrums of conscious. You know what I'm saying? You could be conscious of something mentally, you can be conscious of something emotionally, you could be conscious of something physically, you know, but um but when we speak in just a sense of consciousness, that's things um that you can be consciously aware of. So that's why the sun represents consciousness, because it brings, you know what I'm saying, that interaction that we get to start seeing, you know what I'm saying, shit, and that represents a specific space of externalization. We get influenced by that fluid, and then we start acting within that water wave of conscious. And these be the things that we consciously aware of and shit like that. Now, you know what I'm saying, and yeah. So that's what the fuck consciousness is. Shit, you could be conscious. I'll be over analyzing shit as an Aquarius do, real shit. Over explain it. But now, like, you know, thoughts and feelings more so operate, I would say, within the subconscious. So you know what I'm saying. Um, but we always trying to externalize, so make seem what we can't see as spirits and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And you know, this is how uh, you know, we come into the cycle of being a five fingered and a five pointed being. And we got powers to do that. You know what I'm saying? Now we interpret them as fire, water, air, and earth, but you know what I'm saying? It's just a transition of something being more lighter in shape and form to being a little bit more physical. So fire would be the most um, formless version of that. And we go down to water. You know, it's a little bit more the wave, so it would be the feminine version of the fire. You know what I'm saying? Fire would be more masculine, more separate. Then you got air. Once it does that transition, you know what I'm saying, have the many ideas, many particles, many informations in that space. You know what I'm saying? Will be a little bit more pressuristic, you know. Then it goes into the earth, you know, which would be the feminine side of the air, which is separate too, but from what is in its own vantage and viewpoint of that shit. But earth would be a little bit more stable, a little bit more structured, and that's actually when we see things die. You know what I'm saying? So that's why earth or to Taurus is the hell realm, and because we experience the most hellistic natures in the physical form. When you light as a spirit, you know what I'm saying, you don't really experience um we as spirits we experience less interaction. You know what I'm saying? Because our spirit is no thing and shit like that, but we come up out of the many or the water. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Native Americans think about, you know, evolution. Other than that, y'all can think y'all came from monkeys and shit after colonization and the Darwin theory or some shit like that. And it make no sense. It make no sense, baby. It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense, baby. It don't make no sense. It don't make no. Damn, I gotta go get my charger. Because this motherfucker about to die. I might as well, because I gotta go pick up him some food and stuff like that. Because he gonna press me again and shit like that too. So, you know, might as well make that move. Yeah, but you know, so that was a good little Aries season huddle. You know what I'm saying? As spirits and shit like that, we actually gotta you know, adhere, you know, to the land and shit like that and what's happening with it, you know, and how it's going to influence us. You know what I'm saying? So we can be prepared, you know, for this next 30 days and things. And we can, you know what I'm saying, essentially be in a space where we're knowing the land, how it's operating and stuff like that. So we know how to move with it. And we don't become useless and develop more useless energy. And that energy can be created for you so you can be more privy to taking the convenience, which would be something like, you know what I'm saying, the government give you like a job or something, other than using your natural cultivating talent and cultivating you some type of space where what you're doing is more important and more and expressive in the right energy. You feel me? So like these is the things you gotta consider and stuff like that when you you feel me? When you out here in these motherfucking esoteric streets and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So niggas gotta be coming with knowledge. And I don't wanna hear no bullshit like that no more. And things. No more fake woke, no more fake talk and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, and Martin Luther King, psyop. You know what I'm saying? He was a psyop. You know what I'm saying? He was for a cultural. He was assimilated and he was for to blacks to for Native Americans and all black cultures. Even Africans don't believe that shit, but to assimilate y'all into black culture and stuff like that. So y'all can further not know what the fuck y'all are and shit like that. So psyop, you know what I'm saying, Malcolm X, psyop, you know what I'm saying, Islam, that's Saudi Arabia religion and shit like that. They ain't got shit to do with y'all over here on Native American soil. And then, you know what I'm saying, yeah, all of that. All of that. They ain't got that's with his spirit. And then they don't understand why Justin Bieber are depressed and shit like that because you know he don't know he may not be consciously aware. You know what I'm saying? He doing a Native American curse and shit. You know what I'm saying? All white people be depressed because they understand like that. It's not their home, but they got this energy over here. But it's like you know why I can't be fair with it because it ain't built off fairness and shit like. It ain't built off being fair, and it's built off colonizing. Colorado. The shit built off Colorado.
Dad, can you give me my piece of pie?
Dude, I'm about to go get it right now.
It's mine, it's
No,
mine.
I don't want to hear that.
The
I know.
laundry mat.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Coming in for a rescue.
Talking about a piece of pop. A piece of pop, man. Dad, can you get a piece of pop? Yeah, man, but y'all know what it is, man. No, we don't want to hear that. I don't even want to hear Kendrick Lamar. I watched Kendrick Lamar on Fake Woke. You know what I'm saying? Narrative losing steam. Niggas is clowning this thing. You always talk a lot. Never about anything. You okay, boo?
Let's move up here.
My daughter. Can somebody else wake him up and tell him we ain't black yet? Fake woke. Niggas need a skill class in history. I give them both. Europeans invaded and made it confusing over here, bro. But I'm gonna tell you right now, most of us ain't off no boat. Well, most of us ain't even black. If you think about it, what the fuck is even that? See, these Africans, Jamaicans, and Haitians, they got their shit intact, but the copper red native got slain, and that was that. That was that. That was that, folks. That was that. You know what I'm saying? Real ghost dance, though. Real back to life, real back from the motherfucking dead, okay. Real back from the motherfucking dead, okay. So, yeah. Happy New Year. And I hope you all have a prosperous one. New springs for everyone. Weathers. New visions. New exceptional circumstances. Yeah.